Long-distance trails are the longer recreational trails mainly through rural areas, used for non-motorized recreational traveling. Any route named as a trail will probably be marked or identified on a map, but it will usually only be described as long distance if it takes the average user more than one day to travel from end to end. Typically, a long-distance trail, a path, will be at least 50 kilometers long, but some in Britain are several hundred miles long, and many in the US are much longer. In some countries, official trails will have the surface specially prepared to make the going easier. In the UK, long-distance paths are simply existing rights-of-way, joined together to make a named route. Generally, the surface is not especially prepared except in special places such as converted rail tracks, or some busy hilly areas where stone slabs are laid to prevent erosion. Types: long-distance cycling routes. These have been constructed mainly for bicycle touring. Some are restricted to use by only non-motorized bikes, while others are multi-use recreational. Long-distance cycling routes often range in length from hundreds of miles, such as Australia's Munda Biddy Trail, or thousands of miles, such as the Eurovelo routes. Canal system trails. There are trails that follow the towpaths of canal systems. A good example is the 525-mile New York State Canal System in New York. There are also numerous routes that can be followed in Europe, which are suitable for walkers, cyclists, and sometimes horse riders, as well as canoeists, etc. Coastal trails. These follow coastlines. Good examples of the Southwest Coast Path and the Isle of Wight Coastal Path in England, the West Coast Trail and East Coast Trail in Canada, and the Otter Trail in South Africa. A shorter example is the Gold Coast Oceanway in Australia. The Wales Coast Path is an 870 miles long-distance walking route around the whole coast of Wales from Chepstow to Queensferry, opened in 2012. The England Coast Path, currently in development by Natural England and expected to be complete in 2020, will be around 4,500 kilometers long. It will become Britain's longest national trail. Coast-to-coast trails. These may be cross-country paths, or may follow roadways or other ways, and often intersect with many other trails in the process. A good example is the coast-to-coast path in northern England, which, despite being perhaps the most famous long-distance walking route in England, is not an official national trail but simply a series of connected pre-existing rights-of-way roads and open country with some informal links between them. A similar example, this time for mountain bikes, is the coast-to-coast MTB route that has the same trailheads as the coast-to-coast path in northern England, and enjoys an equivalent reputation amongst UK mountain bikers, but takes the mostly different course. The American Discovery Trail crosses the continental United States from east to west. The Iditarod Trail, at over 1,000 miles, spans Alaska and connects the coastal cities of Seward and Nome. The 220-mile Michigan Shorter Shore Trail crosses the state from one Great Lakes shore to another. Horse trails. Many long-distance trails have sections suitable for horse riding, and a few are suitable for horse riding throughout the length, or have been developed primarily for horse riding. The Bicentennial National Trail in Australia is the longest marked multi-use trail in the world, stretching 5,330 kilometres from Cooktown, Queensland, through New South Wales to Healesville, Victoria. This trail runs the length of the rugged Great Dividing Range through national parks, private property, and alongside of wilderness areas. One of the objectives was to develop a trail trail that linked up the Brumby Tracks, mustering and stock routes along the Great Dividing Range, thus providing an opportunity to legally ride the routes of stockmen and drovers who once traveled these areas with pack horses. The Bicentennial National Trail is suitable for self-reliant horse riders, fit walkers and mountain bike riders. In the United Kingdom, the British Horse Society is developing a network of horse trails known as the National Bridle Route Network. A number of long-distance multi-use trails have been created in England, including 3 national trails: the Pennine Bridleway, 192 kilometers, the Ridgeway, 139 kilometers, and South Downs Way, 160 kilometers. Rail trails. Rail trails paths are shared-use paths that make use of abandoned railway corridors. There are also rails with trails in the USA that follow working rail tracks. Most rail trails have a gravel or dirt surface and can be used for walking, cycling, and often horse riding as well. The following description comes from Australia, but is applicable equally to other rail trails that exist throughout the world. Following the route of the railways, they cut through hills, under roads, over embankments and across gullies and creeks. Apart from being great places to walk, cycle or horse ride, rail trails are linear conservation corridors protecting native plants and animals. They often link remnant vegetation in farming areas and contain valuable flora and fauna habitat. Wineries and other attractions are near many trails, as well as B&Bs and other great places to stay. Quote, in the USA, the 27-mile, 43 kilometers long Cheshire Rail Trail in New Hampshire can be used by hikers, horseback riders, snowmobiles, cross-country skiers, cyclists, or even dog sledders. In Canada, following the abandonment of the Prince Edward Island Railway in 1989, the government of Prince Edward Island purchased the right-of-way to the entire railway system. The Confederation Trail was developed as a tip-to-tip walking, cycling gravel rail trail which doubles as a monitored and groomed snowmobile trail. During the winter months, operated by the Pay Snowmobile Association. Mountain trails. Long-distance mountain trails are of 2 broad kinds: linear trails and loop trails. Notable linear examples include the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail. The first long-distance hiking trail in the U.S. was created in 1910 and named the Long Trail. In Europe, the Via Alpina is a network of 5 long-distance hiking trails across the alpine regions of Slovenia, Austria, Germany, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Italy, France, and Monaco. Notable loop examples include the Tahoe Rim Trail, the Wonderland Trail, and the Tour du Mont Blanc, which passes through the Alps of France, Switzerland, and Italy. Trekking in the Himalayas. The Himalayan routes are famous for attracting a large number of trekkers. Typical trekking regions in Nepal are Annapurna, Dolpo, Langtang, Manaslu, Kangchenjunga, Mount Everest. In India, Kashmir Valley holds the best trekking routes of the world. Vishansar Lake, Gangabal Lake and Tarsar lakes are accessible only through different trekking routes. Other popular trekking routes include Chandratal, Dazongri, Goashla, Gomukh, Hemkund, Kafni Glacier, Kailash Man of Sarovar, Kedarnath, Kadatal, Mailam Glacier, Nanda Devi Sanctuary, Pandari Glacier, Richanpong, Rupkund, Sar Pass, Sato Panth Tal, Sorkundi Pass, and Valley of Flowers. The Great Himalaya Trail is proposed to follow the Greater Himalaya Range from Namche Bawa in Tibet to Nanga Parbat in Pakistan, forming the world's highest mountain trail. Trekking in the Andes. The first long-distance trail of the Andes was published in 2014. The 1,311 kilometers Greater Patagonian Trail explores the remote areas of the northern Patagonian Andes in the border region between Chile and Argentina. Cross-country trails among the longest are 17,000 kilometers Trans-Canada Trail, Canada; 10,944 kilometers American Discovery Trail, United States; 5,000 kilometers Continental Divide Trail, United States; 3,000 kilometers Te Araroa Trail, New Zealand; 1,128 kilometers Countrywide Blue Tour in Hungary, 1,100 kilometers Trans-Panama Trail, Panama; 1,000 kilometers Shvil Yisrael, Israel. Proposed trail, the Great Himalaya Trail, Nepal section. Proposed trail, Chilean Path, Chile. Cross-continent trails among the longest are European walking route T8 and the Iron Curtain Trail. National trails and trail networks. National trails in the UK. National trails are a network of officially sanctioned, well-maintained and well-waymarked routes across England and Wales. Examples of the Pennine Way, the Beacons Way and the South West Coast Path. The equivalent routes in Scotland are long-distance routes such as the West Highland Way. National trails in Ireland. The Kerry Way in southwest Ireland circumnavigates the highest mountain range in Ireland. Along with the adjoining Dingle Way, it is noted for its scenic views of the Atlantic, Lauzon Mountains. Books about long-distance walks. Alan Booth Roads to Sata, a 2,000-mile walk through Japan. Patrick Lee Fermor, A Time of Gifts, Between the Woods and the Water and the Broken Road, describes a walk across Europe in the 1930s. John Hillaby, Journey to the Jade Sea, an account of an African walking tour using camels as pack animals. Journey through Britain. Journey through Europe. Journey to the Gods, describes a tour through the mountains of Greece. George Megan, The Longest Walk, Odyssey of the Human Spirit, describes an unbroken walk from Tierra del Fuego at the southernmost tip of South America to the northern coast of Alaska at Prudhoe Bay between 1977 and 1983. Rory Stewart, The Places in Between, recounts a walk across Afghanistan in 2002 after the Russians had left. Bill Bryson, A Walk in the Woods, an account of the author's partial completion of the Appalachian Trail. Laurie Lee, As I Walked Out One Midsummer Morning, an account of Lee walking from his family home in the Cotswolds to London, and then across Spain before the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War.